undisputed.
Here we go. Super Bowl getting closer. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and right here at FS1. Hope all the people in the Midwest who are dealing with that awful weather, that frightening weather, that dangerous weather, we'll try to warm things up today with especially hot takes. How about that? Joy Taylor joining us. Just hang in there. That weather is, my wife's from the Midwest. We were talking about that last night. Just awful, awful, frightening weather. People, pets.
Yes, it's bad. My family's all in Pittsburgh, which isn't as bad as Chicago and some of the other cities in the West. But
brutal.
I'm thinking of you.
Yeah,
Stay
we are.
safe.
Yeah, be safe. It's a great part of the country, big part of the country for football, certainly. But with this time, this Super Bowl, we got a West Coast and an East Coast. But I want to talk about something that's interesting. So, the NBA yesterday did something, and it's just a crock. You know I've been pro player forever. There's terrible billionaires. They move teams all over the place. I mean, Cleveland before LeBron and after is a poorly run business. Doesn't matter if it's an NBA team or a waste management business. Sometimes it feels like both. It's bad. It's poorly run. So yesterday, the NBA fines Anthony Davis and his agent $50,000. For publicly requesting a trade. By the way, the NBA media, guys like me, ask players all the time if they want to stay somewhere. So a player can't talk about, like, his future. Now, think about this. The NBA encourages its star players to talk about politics, to talk about social issues, talk about the president. They encourage that. But if a player talks about hoops, there's a $50,000 fine. Well, then are you going to make sure that NBA media doesn't ask LeBron or Kyrie Irving or Anthony Davis or Kawhi Leonard about where do you want to play? You don't quite understand this. Okay, I read this morning LeBron could get fined for tampering. Really? Don't you encourage all your stars to go to social media? LeBron's on social media all the time. Isn't that the strength of the NBA? They're better than the NFL on social media. But you're going to fine them as long as they tweet about the president, social issues, policy. But if you tweet about a basketball player, we're going to fine you $50,000. This is a charade. It's a con job. There's always been two stories in sports. The one league sell you and then the truth. This is a con job. The NBA loves this. Adam Silver absolutely loves this. That's why the fine's only $50,000. $50,000 for a major agent and a superstar in the NBA, that is tip money for the rest of us. By the way, do you think it's a coincidence? I mean, Joy and I have been in this business a while. That the Anthony Davis, LeBron Laker thing broke at 7 a.m. Eastern Super Bowl week on Monday. So as all the sports radio stations in America, the 6,000 sports radio stations, are jumping into their NFL talk, what do you know? The story broke at 7 a.m. on Monday of Super Bowl week and flooded every show. You think that's a coincidence? This story could have broken on Saturday, could have broken last week. It just so happened to break on Morning Drive, 7 a.m. Wednesday. Okay, this is the big con. The NBA loves this. You don't think the NBA loves? LeBron's been out for a month. The ratings have been sagging since he left. You don't think they like LeBron, Laker, Anthony Davis talk, Kyrie to the Laker talk? They love this stuff. This, in America today, NFL is king, and the season's winding down. NBA's number 2. And it's very good on social media, and its stars drive the league. NFL is kind of driven by the system, kind of the brand, the shield. NBA is driven by its stars. You don't think Adam Silver loves that his stars are getting talked about on Super Bowl week, that I'm not leading my show? Adam Silver's told me before. He listens, he watches all this stuff. He takes the temperature of the room. Sports is all about real estate. And February, the NFL has been encroaching on the NBA's real estate for years. They've moved around free agency. They can move combines and drafts to get in the way of the NBA. This is the NBA firing back an arrow. Oh, it's Super Bowl week. Let's just make sure stories get out. Listen, this is not dangerous for the league. What they're doing is they're patronizing New Orleans. Adam Silver and the league are going, shame on you guys. Shame on you, Rich Paul. Shame on you, Anthony Davis. That is terrible. Here's a $50,000 fine. You're just patronizing New Orleans, which has had, let's be honest, a really crappy week. Between the call in the Rams game and Anthony Davis leaving, it ain't great for New Orleans and the Benson family. So this is patronizing them, saying, patting them on the back. We got your back on this, those bad star players. You think it's bad for the NBA that Anthony Davis joins LeBron in Los Angeles? Come on. And it's also not dangerous for the league. Basketball, from AAU to college basketball to the NBA, has always been about a handful of stars controlling the league. The NBA has always been about dynasties. The Celtics, Bill Russell won 11. And then you went into the Lakers, Jerry West and Wilt and Gail Goodrich. And then you had, the Pistons and then MJ and then Shaq and Kobe. And now we have the Warriors. The Miami Heat thing was like very, very close to a dynasty. 2 titles, 4 years. It's good. The only problem for the NBA is when the dynasty's boring like the Spurs dynasty was. But basketball at the AAU level, 3 best high school basketball players in America last year all chose Duke. This is what basketball players do. Stop watching the movie Hoosiers. It doesn't exist. That was a great movie. I loved Hoosiers. That's not what real basketball is about today. So star players moving. I'll tell you what's dangerous for the NBA. It's not stars going to big brands. What is absolutely dangerous for the NBA is 7 teams were tanking last year. That's not good. This year, by March, you're going to have about 10 tanking, trying to get that kid at Duke, Zion Williamson. You already got about 5 teams actively tanking. That may double in about a month. That's a problem for the NBA. This is great, great news for the NBA. And a $50,000 fine is a complete con job. It's pretending they care about New Orleans. All right, let's talk some football. Tom Brady is 5-3 in Super Bowls. Let's say he loses. He's 5-4. Is he no longer the GOAT? Let's say he wins and goes 6-3. Joy, is he even goatier? He's the greatest GOAT.
He's the greatest of the goats.
Like, he'll be the goatiest GOAT. Let's say Belichick wins and goes 6-3. He is the best coach. Oh, wait, we know it. He loses and goes in 5-4. He's still the best coach in the history of football. This Super Bowl has no impact on the Patriots outside of the joy of winning. It will not affect Belichick's legacy. It has no effect on Tom Brady's legacy. Best coach, best quarterback. Phillip Rivers in this game, that would affect it. But I'll tell you, if the Rams win this game, it is a complete game changer for a lot of people. Let's start with Sean McVay, 33-year-old head coach, Super Bowl champ, beats the reigning American domestic football genius. It would be massive for Sean McVay. Sean McVay goes into an elite group. He's the next Bill Walsh. He's the next Bill Belichick on the offensive side of the ball. Number 2, Jared Goff. Kind of looks like Brady, both from Northern California. Brady grew up idolizing Montana, Goff watching Brady. West Coast kids, genius head coach. Oh, Jared Goff is the closest thing potentially over the next 15 years to Tom Brady. It would be huge for the city of Los Angeles. This has always been a Lakers town. Football is still a growing business in Los Angeles. The Dodgers are established. USC football, Lakers are established. This would be a movement. This would be pulling people away. Super Bowls have a way of changing. It would also be number 4, big for other stars in this league. The Rams went heavily into free agency and into big diva names. Historically, that was dumb guy territory. Smart GMs did not do that. But for guys like Le'Veon Bell, guys on the market, it is big for players. And let me add this. If the NFL had to pick a side who wins this game, they'd want Los Angeles. About 5 or 6 years ago, I worked at the other place. I was told by an executive the NFL wanted to become more entertainment-driven. They understood they were now a television show more than a sport. Los Angeles is the entertainment capital of North America. Since I heard that 6 years ago, Vegas is going to have a team. Los Angeles has 2 teams. They're moving the NFL Combine here. They've and completed about 60% of a new stadium, and Super Bowls and the NFL Network will take place in that stadium. This would be good for the league. McVay, Goff, City of LA, free agency as a whole, NFL. This game means nothing for Tom Brady's legacy, absolutely nothing for Belichick, but it is a game changer if the Rams win. Coming up next, you know how some guys are a trash talker? Muhammad Ali, Larry Bird, Gary Payton were trash talkers. Bill Belichick just proved again, great trash mumbler. He trolled his own legend. Folks, sports is about smart moves and not so smart moves. That's often the separator from getting to the finals, getting to the Rose Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl.